All right, afternoon. Bit of a rush. It's under pressure there. Kettle's just boiled. I hope we're all well. It's how hot is it? Maybe that should be the question. What temperature is it outside for you at the moment? It's a very warm one here. It's a bit of a warm one, but it's very hot. Very hot today. So what we're going to have to eat? I think I'm going to finish off a granola slice that I've had. So I'm just going to finish that off. That'll be nice. And maybe, just remembered I've got some biscuits in. I've got a little Oreo. We love an Oreo. Everybody likes an Oreo. Anyway, we're going to talk about integrity today, I thought, while my tap kettle's brewing. But I have got a question for you, because I know you like a question that we can all answer. And my question is, it's about a cup of tea. So we've got a new mug. Hernos Tuma, favourite footballer. It feels like 400 degrees. That's probably your most accurate guess, to be fair, Matt. In 21 episodes of Tier 3, it is very warm. It's got to be 35, I think, outside. But that's in the sun. Anyway, the question today, in gallons or litres, how much tea could the biggest teacup hold? Yeah. So gallons or litres, how much tea could the biggest teacup hold? We'll take gallons or litres, either. I don't mind. Gallons or litres. Let's go. Jackson. Jack, go on, have a guess, mate. That's nice. Gallons or litres. How much tea could the biggest teacup make? Or hold, sorry. Tell me what I guess. There you go, a bit of Hernos Tuma there, Jack. Yeah, the biggest cup ever. So what's the biggest cup? How much in gallons or litres could it hold? Yeah, so let's have some guesses. Crofty, come on in, Oz the boy. Come on, Crofty, in you go with your ridiculous guess of the day. And then everybody will know what to avoid. 30 gallons. Genuinely so far out, it's unbelievable. I'll give everyone else a clue. It's more than 30 gallons of tea. But there is a 3 in the answer. Can't say fairer than that. So, but it is more than 30 gallons of tea. There's actually a system in the cup to keep the tea at 85 degrees. Anyway, we probably better do what I'm here to talk about today. So today we're going to talk about integrity, which is kind of quite key as a manager. Well, everybody's putting 300 litres. That's not got a 3 in it, Jack, you numpty. So I'm going to talk about integrity, key for manager. What is integrity? It's kind of about moral character, really. That's what we're talking about. It's about ethics. It's about being honest. That's one definition, actually, honesty. But there's 2 other definitions. Obviously, yeah. 2 other definitions. One is whole and one is perfect. Now, they kind of relate a little bit to a building in a way, a perfect condition. But I kind of think we can allow that in ourselves as well. So if we're like that perfect condition or we're wholesome, we have a lot of integrity. So that's kind of what we mean. That's what it is. It's that kind of stuff. So we don't question ourselves. So people with integrity don't question themselves, and they kind of don't hide. So they're quite open. But I want to get this balance right, because I've spoken about openness and honesty, linked it back in with emotional intelligence. It doesn't just give you carte blanche to say what you want and say, I'm being true to myself, because other people are involved. So what do people with integrity do? Well, they gain trust of others. That's the first thing. They're good role models. So think about the people that you perhaps followed, admired, something along those lines. They probably have good integrity. They probably trusted them, respected them. Good ethical leadership. So doing what's right for you, what's doing right for them, what's right for the business. And I think that little balance is the right thing. So how can we do it? How can we make it better? So the first thing is I want you to think about your values. So what is it that kind of defines you as an individual? Now, we know a lot about businesses that we all work in, and there's a lot of business values. But what about internally inside you? It's like a stick of rock with your values running through you. So what are your values? What's important to you professionally? and indeed probably personally. Now, work in value terms, like I've worked in a lot of businesses, and some of the values, you get some interesting words, but I kind of want you to think about what are your values. One of my values, anybody who knows me, is like have a laugh. That's one of my core values at work. It's really important to me. The closest we're going to get to that professional value word is probably fun. Yeah, but have a laugh. That's kind of important to me. But other things like teamwork are key. So don't worry about words that you think are right because they're business. Think about what's important to you. And the second bit with your values is then what do you do every day to display those values? What do your values look like? So another one for me professionally would be about teamwork. So in the current situation that we're in, that's quite an interesting one because I'm essentially here. Alone. So kind of what happens? How do I display that value of teamwork? That's the kind of interesting thing. So think about everything that you do, how you communicate. Am I pushing out my values? Now, another way to kind of check your values and check what you're doing, and we've got a few more people joining, so you probably see a lot of numbers in there. And the question today is, how much does the biggest cup of tea hold in litres or gallons? So you see a lot of guesses, but the answer's definitely got a 3 in it. So if you were famous, would you be comfortable with what people might be writing about you on social media or in the press? So that's another way to kind of check your values. Would you be happy? You wouldn't mind who sees some of the things you're going to do. So what else can we do? Well, we can fulfill our promises. So deliver on what we said we were going to deliver on. Keep appointments is a simple one. We've probably all got a friend actually who kind of says, "Oh yeah, no, definitely me," and then they don't. And I think that can be frustrating, and that kind of loses a little bit of trust. But keep appointments. We don't like things jumping out of diaries. So as a manager, speak about this from performance management point of view. Think about that. We don't like dates changing. Say no. It's an acceptable part of integrity. Just to say no, but be honest about it. Don't feel that you have to say yes and then come back and say no later. So that doesn't mean it gives us carte blanche to say no to everything, but we certainly have the right to say no, particularly if it kind of sort of offends what we believe, that sort of thing. I read an example just about what does integrity truly look like, and somebody said, dispatching some stuff. So they're like. They packed it up, put it on a van, and somebody said, "Oh, there was a couple of little dents in that, wasn't there? That's a bit, it wasn't like perfect." And they said, "Oh, it's all right because we can just say it got damaged in transit." And that's kind of a challenge of integrity, really. So somebody knows something's not right, but they're going to utilize another way out. Not going to check it properly. All those kind of things. We've always got this way out where we can put it on someone else. Think about, do you have a knee jerk? Do you overreact to certain things? So that's about checking yourself maybe under pressure or in a crisis, something along those lines. Get your communication right. So it's always worth like a little reread of certain things. Emails written in haste could damage you going forward. And also the kind of the people that you kind of work with and surround yourself with. One of my colleagues talks a lot about drains and radiators, and the drains kind of suck the energy away from you, and also the radiators will keep you physically warm, but they'll also keep you warm mentally. And I think who you get associated with in a group, anybody out there with a kid, there's kind of you're always worried about your kid maybe getting in with the wrong crowd, that kind of thing, because you want a group that shows integrity. But I think that's the same at work. Who you surround yourself with good people. So the people, the radiators of the business, the drains, the Voldemorts of the business, they're the people where the dementors, the office dementors, they're never great. So what are we thinking then? Well, I've got some questions for you. Am I willing to be wrong? And that can be fine. If I'm wrong every time, it's not great, but am I willing to be wrong? When I make decisions, personally and professionally, am I happy if my partner or my kid knows about it? Would that look good? Is that the kind of role model I want to be? That links in with that whole leading by example. And the last thing, and I've given this advice to a few people, is if you do something, will it make it better? Will it make the situation better? So sometimes, people have said, "Oh, should I say this?" And I say, "Well, is that going to improve the situation?" I get that you want to be honest and true to yourself, but actually, sometimes it's better just to go, "Do you know what? I'm going to stay to my values, move away from that, and not have to deal with it." So, integrity is a key trait of a leader. But when we try and break it down, yes, it's about honesty, it's about trust, it's about respect, but it's about constantly being aware of your values, how they're displayed, and how they're seen by other people. I do like that little thing about, would you be prepared to that person you care about deeply? Would you be happy with them seeing how you work professionally and perform professionally? And equally, would you be comfortable if it was all over social media or the newspaper? And that's where a lot of these things can not land. There's a lot of people like comedians, pop stars, that kind of thing, who've kind of slipped through the net with tax. To me, they haven't behaved with integrity. It's not about whether it's legal or whether it's right or wrong. It's about integrity. And I think a couple of them have been highlighted on that. We're not saying you've done something illegal, but you haven't behaved with integrity. And that can damage how they're perceived by the public. So for us, it's how we're perceived by the people we work with, or the people in our business, our friends, our colleagues, and the people who may be reporting to us. So be true to yourself, but not to damage any other people. All right. So how much tea can we get in there? And we had Matt's very simple 30 gallon guess. And there's a couple of litres. So there was 100, but then it went up to 300. We've got Rachel's 1,003. I wonder if that's gallons or litres, Rachel. And Flora's coming with 250. It's actually an incredible 1,320 gallons of tea. 1,320 gallons of tea. It was done now in Saudi Arabia. And it could have been that mug. That mug holds a pint, actually. So you can get a pint of tea. So that's just a mere point. Yeah, that's a big. Yeah, how big was the kettle is probably the question for next Tuesday. These are good questions. The sun's clearly affecting us. So a huge amount. Like I said, there was something in there to keep it at the optimum temperature of 85 degrees. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to enjoy my tea, enjoy the sun, have a cracking weekend. My picture. I'll find one and I'll hold it up on Tuesday. Maybe I need the answers on pictures. Just Google it, Matt. That's all I do. And next week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk about networking Tuesday. Probably even more vital in the scenarios we're in at the moment, where it's a bit harder to face-to-face network. So it's great to see you. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Jack, for coming in. I really hope to see you again next Tuesday. Networking, tea at 3. Enjoy. Thanks very much.